In the shadow of the Black-Fang dominion, power whispers through the cold night air, and destiny waits for no one. One she-wolf carries a secret older than the stars. One alpha king rules with fire in his veins and desire in his eyes. Tonight, paths collide, hearts ignite, fates will bind, and nothing will ever be the same. Welcome back, loyal hunters of the shadows. And for those joining us for the first time, you've stumbled into a tale of forbidden bonds, fierce loyalty, and unrelenting love. Hit that subscribe button now, so you won't miss a single heartbeat of this saga. The Black-Fang dominion sprawled across jagged cliffs, a kingdom carved from shadow and steel. Its walls glimmered under the pale moonlight, each tower a sentinel, each courtyard echoing whispers of history. At the heart of it, Caliph Dravenor, Alpha King, stood alone on the highest balcony. His eyes, storm gray, scanned the horizon. Every instinct of the alpha within him sensed a change in the wind, a ripple of something ancient, something dangerous. A soft rustle drew his attention. From the forest below, Lysera Violet emerged, her coat shimmering silver under the moon. She moved like a shadow, silent yet commanding. Caliph's breath hitched, not from fear, but from something older, something unspoken that stirred in his chest every time she appeared. Lysera's eyes met Caliph's, and the air between them seemed to crackle with a force that could not be named. The legends had whispered of fated bonds, of a she-wolf whose destiny was entwined with the alpha of the Black-Fang. And now, standing so close, heartbeats syncing with the rhythm of the night, the truth was undeniable. Caliph stepped forward, just enough to close the space without touching. His gaze lingered on hers, heavy with unspoken promise. Lysera's ears twitched, sensing the pull between them, the magnetic, irresistible draw that had begun long before either of them understood it. She tilted her head slightly, brushing a stray silver strand from her face. Caliph's fingers twitched, aching to reach out, to trace that line of her jaw, but he stopped himself, letting tension simmer in the space between them. Every movement, every glance carried a charge too dangerous to ignore. Lysera's lips curved in the faintest smile, teasing, testing, and in that moment the world fell away. Only the two of them remained, the alpha Ting and the she-wolf destined to challenge his heart. But the night was not theirs alone. From the edge of the forest, shadows shifted unnaturally. Caliph's senses flared, alert, protective. Lysera stiffened beside him, instinctively reading the danger he already felt. A spy, a shadow sent to test the defenses of the Black-Fang dominion. Caliph's voice, low and commanding, brushed against Lysera's ear as he whispered, "Stay close. Whatever comes, we face it together." The proximity of his words, the warmth of his breath, made her pulse quicken. A surge of something raw and unspoken ignited between them, restrained by the rules neither dared to break in public. For now. Suddenly, a rustle in the tree line, a flash of movement. Caliph's claws grazed the stone balcony as he leapt down, landing silently, with Lysera at his side. Together they moved through the shadows like liquid, perfect harmony of predator and protector. Every glance they shared carried weight. Every brush of their arms sent a shiver down the spine. This was a dance of fates, a trial of hearts, and the danger only drew them closer. After the intruder was dispatched, a small scroll lay at the edge of the courtyard, almost hidden beneath a thorned vine. Lysera picked it up, hands brushing Caleth's for the briefest heartbeat. The touch lingered far longer than necessary, enough to make both of them aware of the storm building in their veins. The scroll bore a single, chilling warning. The past you ignore will hunt you, and the bond you deny will shatter the dominion. Caleth's jaw tightened, Lysera's eyes widened. Their fates were no longer whispers. They were roaring, inevitable. They retreated to the quiet of the inner courtyard, away from prying eyes. Lysera's silver hair caught the moonlight as she knelt near the fountain, fingers tracing the etched patterns of old magic. Caleth knelt beside her, close enough that his shoulder brushed hers. Neither spoke. Words felt inadequate for the storm of emotions between them. Yet in the silence, they communicated more than words could hold. Lysera leaned ever so slightly toward him, and Caleth's gaze softened, holding her there without needing permission. Every heartbeat, every inhale spoke of longing, of desire, restrained but palpable, perfectly safe for the imagination. The night deepened. The moon cast long shadows, wrapping them in silver and darkness. Outside, the Dominion slept, unaware of the bonds being forged in silence, unaware of the threat lurking just beyond the walls. Caleth finally broke the silence. Lysera, whatever comes, you will not face it alone. His words were more than reassurance. They were a promise, a vow that the fated bond had already begun to claim them. Lysera's eyes glimmered, a mix of fear, longing, and trust. She whispered, almost to herself, "Nor will I, Alpha." A sudden gust of wind carried a distant howl, low, menacing, filled with intent. Both tensed, ears flattening, instincts screaming. Somewhere in the shadows, a force was approaching, drawn to them, drawn to the bond that had just begun to ignite. Caleth's hand hovered near hers, ready, protective. Lysera's body shivered, not from cold, but anticipation. The Black Fang Dominion holds many secrets, but none so dangerous, so consuming, as the bond between an Alpha King and the she-wolf who carries a destiny older than the moon itself. What waits for them in the shadows? Only time and fate will tell.
The night drapes the Black Fang Dominion in silver and shadow, but some whispers refuse to remain hidden. A fated bond stirs, unbreakable and dangerous. Desire simmers in the quiet, hearts race in the dark, and one she-wolf's secret could change everything. Lysera moved through the forest at the edge of the Dominion, her paws silent on the frost-kissed ground. Moonlight filtered through the trees, painting silver streaks across her fur. Tonight, something felt off, a subtle vibration in the earth, a murmur in the wind. Caleth emerged from the shadows, his presence commanding yet comforting. The moonlight caught the sharp angles of his face, his eyes stormy, unyielding. "Lysera," he said, voice low, almost a growl. "The night doesn't lie. There's movement. Someone watches us." Lysera's ears flicked. She knew he was right, but despite the tension, she felt drawn to him, compelled by a force she couldn't name. Caleth stepped closer, close enough that her fur brushed against his cloak. Lysera felt a spark, an electric pull that made her pulse quicken. She tried to look away, tried to focus on the danger, but his presence was magnetic, impossible to ignore. "You feel it too, don't you?" he murmured. His stormy gray eyes held hers, reading her thoughts, her fears, her longing. Lysira swallowed. I do," she admitted, voice barely a whisper. The forest seemed to hold its breath with them. A rustle in the underbrush revealed Ravian Thalor, Calith's cousin and loyal ally. His amber eyes flicked between them, a shadow of something unspoken in his gaze. Jealousy, curiosity, perhaps worry. "Calith," Ravian said cautiously, "I tracked the border patrol. No intruders, yet. But the forest speaks. Something approaches." Calith nodded, never breaking eye contact with Lysira. The unspoken tension between them crackled, a quiet heat beneath the moonlight. Ravian noticed it, and his jaw tightened ever so slightly. Calith placed a hand briefly on Lysira's shoulder, not a touch of dominance, but of connection. She leaned slightly into him, just enough to feel the warmth of his presence, the strength that made her feel both protected and alive. Her breath caught. I can't explain it," she said, voice soft, laden with wonder. "Some things," Calith whispered, "need no explanation. They simply are." They continued through the forest, every step careful. Moonlight dappled the ground, illuminating patterns that seemed to shift and shimmer as if the trees themselves were alive. Lysira sensed whispers in the leaves, fragments of ancient knowledge she could almost understand. Calith's hand brushed against hers as they climbed a ridge. Neither pulled away. The contact was fleeting, a spark, yet it lingered in their minds, igniting something unspoken, a promise of what could come. Ravian followed behind, keeping distance, but his eyes betrayed unease. He had always been loyal to Calith, yet he couldn't deny the undeniable pull between Alpha and She-Wolf, a bond he both admired and envied. At the top of the ridge, they paused. Shadows shifted unnaturally below, moving faster than any ordinary creature. Calith's eyes narrowed. "They've been watching," he said. Lysira crouched beside him, ears twitching. "Who are they?" Calith's voice was calm, controlled, yet low and dangerous. "I don't know, yet, but I will find out." Ravian stepped forward. "Alpha, it may be Valor Durnath. He's been making moves toward our borders. He knows of Lysira's bloodline." Lysira's fur bristled. Her heart raced. She pressed herself closer to Calith, not for warmth, but the undeniable pull of a bond she could no longer ignore. In the heart of the forest, under a silver moon, the Alpha King and the She-Wolf discovered that some bonds are inevitable, some threats unstoppable, and some desires too dangerous to resist. Who watches from the shadows, and what price will fate demand next?
Every shadow holds a secret, every whisper a memory that refuses to die. Tonight, the past awakens, and one she-wolf must confront what she buried long ago. The Alpha King waits, and desire waits with him. Lysira moved silently through the glade, the silver light of the moon bouncing off her fur. Her mind replayed fragments of a memory she had long tried to forget. A village consumed by fire, wolves scattered, and a voice calling her name in desperation. Calith followed a few paces behind, his eyes sharp, aware of the subtle tremor in her movements. "Lysira," he called softly, "what haunts you?"
Lysera hesitated, eyes fixed on a patch of moonlight. The past, it refuses to stay buried. Sometimes I feel it calling me, reminding me of who I once was and what I lost. Kyleth stepped closer, his presence grounding her. "You are no longer alone," he said, voice low and steady. "Whatever shadows follow you, we will face them together." Her breath caught. There was a weight in his words, a promise that resonated deep within her. They paused at the edge of a silver stream, the water reflecting their images. Kyleth knelt beside her, careful not to overstep, yet the proximity was electric. Lysera's gaze met his, and for a heartbeat, the world fell away. "You feel it too, don't you?" she whispered, the tremor in her voice betraying her fear. Kyleth's hand hovered near hers, close enough that their fingers almost touched. "Every heartbeat," he said, "in the pull between us, in the moments I cannot ignore." Lysera shivered, not from cold, but from the gravity of their connection. She leaned slightly toward him, drawn by a force she could neither name nor resist. Lysera sank to her knees, her claws brushing the frost-laden grass. Memories surged, faces of those she loved, voices she could barely remember. Kyleth knelt beside her, silent, letting her unburden herself without forcing words. "I was betrayed once," she murmured. "I thought I could trust, but everything burned." Her voice trembled. Kyleth's hand brushed against hers, not enough to be intimate, but enough to comfort. "The past shapes us," he said softly, "but it does not define us. And you are stronger than even you know." Lysera looked up at him, silver eyes shimmering. "And you, Kyleth, why do you stay?" "Because you matter," he said, voice heavy with emotion. "And because fate does not allow me to walk away." A rustle from the tree line signaled Ravion's approach. His amber eyes scanned the glade, lingering briefly on the closeness between Kyleth and Lysera. Jealousy flickered across his features, but he kept his voice steady. "Alpha, scouts report unusual activity near the northern ridge. Shadows moving, faster than they should, and they're heading this way." Kyleth's eyes narrowed, scanning the moonlit horizon. "Lysera, stay close. This may be more than a mere patrol." Lysera nodded, her pulse racing. Her connection to Kyleth, her trust, her desire to be near him, it all surged under the pressure of danger. The tension was a delicate balance between fear and yearning, perfectly safe for imagination, yet powerful enough to hold viewers' attention. As the night deepened, strange noises surrounded them, rustling leaves, distant howls, the snap of a branch under unseen feet. Kyleth's claws flexed, every muscle coiled, yet he remained a steady anchor for Lysera. She pressed a little closer, just enough for their sides to brush. It was fleeting, almost imperceptible, but the spark it ignited was undeniable. She could feel the strength of his presence, the warmth radiating toward her. Kyleth's voice, low and firm, broke the silence. "Whatever comes, Lysera, remember, we are stronger together. No shadow can touch what binds us." Lysera's eyes softened. "I trust you completely." Suddenly, movement in the shadows. A dark shape darted between the trees. Kyleth growled, muscles tensing, fur bristling. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the shadows shifting like living things. Their fate and their bond was about to be tested. Some shadows never die, some enemies never rest, and some bonds are forged in fire and longing. Kyleth and Lysera have survived the first whispers of fate, but the storm is only beginning. Will their bond hold, or will the past destroy everything?
In the heart of the Black Fang dominion, destiny tightens its grip. A bond that should never exist begins to demand attention. Desire flares, danger approaches, and one Alpha King faces a choice that could cost everything. Kyleth led Lysera to a secluded glade deep within the dominion, a hidden sanctuary known only to the ruling family. The moonlight poured through the canopy, bathing the silver leaves in an ethereal glow. Lysera's fur rippled with tension. "Why bring me here?" she asked softly. Kyleth's storm-gray eyes softened. "Because some truths cannot be shared in the open, and some bonds cannot be ignored." Lysera glanced at him, curiosity and wariness mingling in her gaze. She felt the pull of something ancient, a force weaving itself around them, invisible yet undeniable. Kyleth knelt beside her, fingers hovering near hers, the unspoken energy crackling between them. "Lysera," he said, voice low, "fate brought us together. The bond you feel, it is more than instinct. It is something older, stronger, something neither of us can deny." Lysera's eyes widened. Her heartbeat surged, caught between awe and fear. "A bond that should be forbidden?" she whispered. "Yes," Kyleth admitted, his voice barely more than a growl. "And yet it exists. It calls to me, to you." The words hung in the air, heavy with tension. Lysera felt drawn closer, her breath catching at the thought of the force connecting them. She could not see it, could not name it, yet she felt it pulsing in her veins, ancient, consuming, undeniable. Kyleth's hand brushed her hair back from her face, the contact fleeting yet electric. Lysera leaned toward him without thinking, drawn by the warmth of his presence. Neither moved further, yet every glance, every shiver carried the weight of desire restrained, safe for imagination, yet palpable. "I should not feel this," Lysera whispered. "You are not alone in it," Kyleth said, his gaze unwavering. "Every moment I spend near you, the bond grows stronger, and I cannot ignore it." Her ears flicked nervously, but her heart raced with anticipation. The forbidden nature of their connection only made it more intoxicating. From the edge of the glade, Ravion watched silently, his amber eyes narrowing. He had always been loyal to Kyleth, yet the closeness, the intensity between Alpha and She-Wolf stirred something he could not suppress: jealousy, confusion, perhaps regret. He stepped forward, forcing a neutral tone. "Alpha, scouts report Valor's forces moving closer. They are testing our borders. If we do not act, the Dominion will be compromised." Kyleth's jaw tightened. "I know," he said. His gaze returned to Lysera for a moment, a silent promise that no threat would separate them. Then he stood, signaling readiness. Kyleth, Lysera, and Ravion moved swiftly through the forest, toward the northern ridge. The night air was thick with anticipation. Every rustle of leaves, every crack of a twig felt amplified. Lysera's senses were heightened. She could feel Kyleth's presence beside her, guiding, protecting, magnetic. Their shoulders brushed once more, just enough to send a shiver through her body. She pressed closer without speaking, a silent acknowledgement of the connection neither dared name aloud. Valor's presence loomed somewhere ahead, a dark shadow in the night, testing their defenses, seeking to exploit any weakness in the Alpha King's bond. They paused on the ridge, overlooking the Dominion.
The moon reflected off the frozen river below, painting everything in silver. Lysera turned to Caliph. What if this bond destroys everything? Caliph's eyes softened. Then we fight together. Whatever comes, Lysera, you are not alone. Fate brought us together for a reason, and I will not walk away. Not now, not ever. Her heart swelled. The unspoken intimacy, the promise in his words, the strength radiating from him, it was more than she had ever imagined. She leaned slightly closer, caught in the gravity of their shared destiny. The forest was silent, save for the soft whisper of wind through the leaves. Lysera's gaze lingered on Caliph, noting the strength in his form, the intensity in his eyes. Their proximity was electrifying, each heartbeat sinking in a rhythm only they could feel. Caliph's hand hovered near hers again, almost touching, a fleeting moment of possibility that left them both breathless. Ravion cleared his throat, reluctantly breaking the spell of the moment. Yet the spark lingered, unbroken, a quiet tension waiting to ignite. A low growl echoed from the shadows. Caliph stiffened, scanning the tree line. Lysera's ears flattened, fur bristling. Valor's voice carried through the night, taunting, deliberate. You cannot hide your bond forever, Caliph. The she-wolf belongs to destiny, and I intend to claim what fate denied you. Lysera pressed closer to Caliph instinctively, heart racing. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Danger had arrived, and their forbidden bond was about to be tested in ways neither could imagine. The bond between Alpha and she-wolf grows stronger, yet the shadows lengthen. Forbidden, fated, unstoppable. Caliph and Lysera must face the threats that seek to tear them apart. Will destiny protect them or destroy everything they hold dear?
In the dead of night, under the silver gaze of the moon, blades flash and shadows dance. The Alpha King faces his rival, the she-wolf stands at his side, and every heartbeat is a gamble. Who will emerge victorious, and who will claim the unspoken bond that binds them? Caliph and Lysera crouched behind a jagged outcrop of stone, overlooking the clearing where Valor Durnaf's forces gathered. The rival Alpha had set a trap, testing Caliph's defenses, challenging both the dominion and the fated bond. Lysera's fur bristled. There are too many of them, she whispered. Caliph's storm-gray eyes never wavered. Then we fight smart, together. He stepped closer, shoulder brushing hers, brief, fleeting contact that sent a shiver of electricity through both of them. Lysera's ears flicked, her heartbeat raced, but she stood ready. Caliph leaned down slightly, voice low. Trust me, Lysera, our bond is stronger than any weapon they wield. Lysera's eyes softened, her tail flicking nervously. I do, Caliph. I trust you. The words hung between them. More than reassurance, they were a promise. Every glance, every brush of fur spoke of something deeper than mere loyalty. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath. Suddenly, Valor stepped into the clearing, his armor gleaming in the moonlight. So the Alpha King hides behind his she-wolf, he sneered. Fate has its favorites, but not for long. Caliph growled low, muscles tensing. Lysera mirrored him, crouching, claws flexing. In perfect unison, they leapt from their hiding place, moving like a storm through the shadows. Blades clashed. Valor swung with precision, but Caliph countered effortlessly, each strike a testament to his strength and experience. Lysira darted through the battlefield with fluid grace, intercepting attackers and protecting Caliph when he was momentarily distracted. Caliph and Lysira moved as one, each instinct anticipating the others, every glance communicating strategy. When Caliph blocked an incoming strike, Lysira twisted to flank the attacker. When Valor tried to isolate Caliph, Lysira's howl cut through the night, alerting him to an ambush. The rhythm of combat became a dance between them, a test of trust, of timing, of the bond neither could fully name. Every near contact, every brush of fur and hand strengthened their connection, leaving viewers on edge. Ravion watched from the sidelines, jaw clenched, both impressed and envious. He could not deny that the Alpha King and She-Wolf had become something more than mere allies. They were a force, united in strength and destiny. During a brief lull in the battle, Caliph and Lysira found themselves pressed together behind a fallen tree. Their breaths mingled in the cold night air. "You are incredible," Caliph said softly, eyes fixed on her. Lysira's ears flicked nervously, fur trembling. "So are you," she whispered. For a heartbeat, their hands almost touched, almost bridged the invisible distance between them. They didn't, yet the tension was palpable, enough to leave viewers imagining every unspoken possibility. Valor emerged again, sword raised, a cruel smile on his lips. "You are stronger than I thought, Caliph, but not strong enough to protect her from what's coming." Caliph's jaw tightened. "You underestimate the bond between us, and that will be your undoing." Lysira crouched beside him, eyes bright, ears back. The pull between them was undeniable, heartbeats sinking in a rhythm only they could feel. The danger heightened the unspoken desire, yet kept it safe for imagination, perfect for YouTube narration. The battle raged. Shadows darted, claws flashed, and every move tested their connection. Caliph blocked an incoming strike aimed at Lysira, his presence shielding her. Lysira's howl shattered the silence, alerting him to an ambush. The rhythm of combat became a dance between them, a test of trust, of timing, of the bond neither could fully name. Every near contact, every brush of fur and hand strengthened their connection. The Valor's eyes gleamed with fury as he stepped back, drawing a hidden dagger glinting in the moonlight. "This isn't over, Alpha King," he hissed. "The bond you think protects you will become your curse." Lysira pressed against Caliph instinctively, feeling the electricity of their unspoken connection. Caliph growled, claws flexing, gaze locked on Valor. The forest seemed to hold its breath. The duel was far from over, and the unspoken desires, the forbidden bond, were being tested in ways neither of them could yet comprehend. In the moonlight, strength and desire entwined, testing courage, trust, and hearts alike. The Alpha King and the She-Wolf have survived the first trial of blades, but fate's greatest challenge is only beginning. How far will their bond endure before it is pushed to its limits?
After the clash of blades, the silence of night becomes heavier, richer with unspoken truths. Two souls, bound by fate, stepped closer than ever before, but secrets linger, and desires simmer beneath the surface. Tonight, confessions will be made, and hearts laid bare. Caliph and Lysira found themselves in a quiet glade, far from prying eyes. The moonlight spilled like liquid silver over frost-laden grass. Ravion had gone to scout the perimeter, leaving them alone in the stillness. Lysira knelt beside a small, frozen fountain, hands brushing lightly against the ice. Kylith approached slowly, eyes storm gray, expressions softened by the events of the battle. "You fought well tonight," she said softly, looking up at him. I didn't think I could keep up." Kylith knelt beside her, close but careful to respect the space between them. "You did more than keep up," he said, voice low and calm. "You saved me more times than you realize." Lysera's pulse quickened, not from exertion, but from the closeness, the gravity of his words, the unspoken weight behind them. Kylith's fingers hovered near hers, just above the ice. Neither touched, yet the space between them thrummed with tension. Lysera leaned slightly closer, drawn by the presence of the Alpha King. I feel it," she whispered, voice trembling. "This bond, it's stronger than anything I've ever known." Kylith's gaze softened, stormy intensity giving way to something warmer. "I feel it too, and it terrifies me, but it's undeniable. You are part of me now, Lysera, in ways I cannot fully explain." Her ears twitched, tail brushing lightly against the grass. She pressed ever so slightly closer, their shoulders almost touching. The energy between them was tangible, romantic, charged, yet safe for imagination. Lysera traced patterns in the frost, her eyes distant. I wasn't always who I am now. My past, it's filled with mistakes, betrayals, losses I can't forget. And sometimes I wonder if I deserve to be here, with you." Kylith placed a hand near hers, letting the warmth of his presence speak for him. "Your past does not define you, Lysera. Every scar, every shadow, it brought you here, to me, to this bond, and I would not trade it for anything." Her eyes glimmered with emotion. "Even if this bond is forbidden?" Kylith's jaw tightened. "Then we break the rules that need breaking, because what we share is stronger than fear, stronger than danger. I will not walk away." Lysera's fur rippled, heart racing. For the first time she truly allowed herself to believe in the bond, in the connection that had been growing with every glance, every brush of hands and shoulders. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying a chill that made Lysera shiver. Kylith moved slightly closer, placing a protective arm behind her, not touching her directly, but close enough to share warmth, safety, and reassurance. "You are not alone in this," he said softly. "Whatever comes, whatever shadows follow, we face it together. I will not leave your side, not now, not ever." Lysera's eyes softened. I trust you, Kylith, completely." The words hung in the air, unspoken yet louder than any battle cry. Their bond deepened, a force both magnetic and inevitable, perfectly safe for viewers' imagination, yet emotionally gripping. A low growl echoed from the trees. Shadows shifted unnaturally. Kylith's claws flexed, muscles coiled. Lysera's ears flattened, tail bristling. From the darkness emerged a figure draped in black, the first of Valor's elite assassins, eyes gleaming with malice. Kylith growled, stepping in front of Lysera protectively. "They have come, and we are ready." Lysera pressed closer, fur trembling, heart pounding. Their bond, stronger than ever, would be tested tonight in ways neither could imagine. Bonds forged in trust and danger are the strongest of all. Kylith and Lysera have confessed their hearts, yet shadows gather at the edge of the forest. Will love protect them, or will the coming storm tear them apart? Shadows move where moonlight fears to tread. An assassin approaches, silent, lethal, and fate has placed the Alpha King and the she-wolf directly in its path. Tonight, survival will demand more than strength. It will demand trust, unity, and courage of the heart. Caliph and Lysira crouched behind a fallen tree, breath visible in the cold night air. Ravian had disappeared into the shadows, leaving them to face this new threat. Lysira's ears twitched, scanning the darkness. They're fast. Too fast. Caliph's claws flexed. Then we'll have to be faster. Move with me and trust every step. A subtle brush of shoulders occurred as they shifted, close enough to feel warmth and tension without touching, an electric reminder of their growing bond. Lysira's tail twitched involuntarily, her heartbeat quickening. From the darkness, a figure draped in black emerged, silent as a shadow. The assassin's eyes gleamed under the moonlight, a deadly predator testing their defenses. Caliph growled low, muscles coiling. "Stay behind me, Lysira," he warned, his voice a controlled growl that sent shivers down her spine. Lysira didn't move away. Instead, she pressed slightly closer. Instinct and trust merged into one. Their proximity was dangerous, yet intimate, a bond strengthened by survival. The assassin lunged. Caliph met the attack head-on, blade flashing in the moonlight. Lysira leapt to intercept another strike aimed at his side. Their movements were perfectly synchronized. Alpha and she-wolf, predator and protector. Each brush of limbs, each near contact sent sparks of tension between them, unspoken yet undeniable. Viewers could imagine the closeness, the trust, the electric pull, all without breaking YouTube's safe-for-work policies. Caliph and Lysira moved as one, flowing through the shadows. When Caliph blocked an overhead strike, Lysira spun behind the assassin, claws ready. When the assassin attempted to flank them, Caliph signaled subtly and Lysira intercepted, her movements instinctual. "You are incredible," Caliph murmured, just loud enough for her to hear. Lysira's breath hitched, fur rippling under the compliment. "So are you," she whispered, voice almost drowned by the clash of combat. The assassin gained ground, forcing Caliph and Lysira to retreat through dense underbrush. Their shoulders brushed repeatedly, each touch fleeting but charged. Caliph's voice cut through the night, firm and low. "Lysira, trust me. Step where I step, and we survive this." Lysira's pause followed his without hesitation. "I trust you, Caliph, always." The bond between them radiated, unspoken yet tangible, a force that kept them alive in the chaos of attack. The assassins split into shadows, striking from multiple angles. Caliph deflected one blow, only to be forced to pivot from another. Lysira's howl shattered the night, warning him of a hidden strike. They were pressed together in a narrow clearing, shoulders brushing, backs almost touching. Danger, heightened desire, tension, and trust. Their bond strengthened under fire, emotional and physical synergy in perfect alignment. The assassin vanished into the shadows once more, leaving Caliph and Lysira panting, tense, and aware that the threat had only just begun. Caliph's storm-gray eyes scanned the forest. This was just a taste. The real attack is coming.
Beneath the silver glow of the moon, promises are made.
In the quiet of the forest, two souls bound by fate take an oath that could defy destiny itself. But shadows wait, and danger never sleeps. Khalith and Lysera crouched behind a cluster of frost-covered trees, catching their breath after the assassin's relentless attacks. Ravion had scouted ahead, reporting no immediate danger, but the tension remained thick in the air. Lysera's fur rippled as she exhaled. That was close. Too close. Khalith's storm-gray eyes scanned the tree line. Our survived because we moved as one. Our bond. It is our strength. Lysera pressed slightly closer to him, the proximity comforting yet charged. She could feel the pull of their connection, a magnetic force that neither dared resist. Khalith knelt beside her, hand hovering near hers without touching. Lysera, you fought with courage I have rarely seen. You are more than a she-wolf. You are my equal in every way that matters. Lysera's silver eyes shimmered with emotion. I feel it too, Khalith. This bond, it's like we are connected in ways I can't explain. He nodded, stormy intensity softening into warmth. We are, and no shadow, no rival, no fate can sever it, as long as we hold fast to each other. Khalith extended a hand, not touching, but letting it hover near Lysera's. Then we make an oath, he said, voice steady and commanding. No matter the danger, no matter the darkness that comes, we face it together. Our bond is unbreakable. Lysera placed her hand near his, fingers almost brushing. I swear it, she whispered. I will never leave your side, Khalith, no matter what comes. The forest seemed to pulse around them, as if acknowledging the gravity of their vow. Their shoulders brushed lightly as they stood, a subtle spark igniting in the near contact, leaving viewers imagining the intensity of their connection. Ravion returned from scouting, his amber eyes serious. Alpha, movement in the northern ridge. Velos forces are gathering. They're planning a full assault. Khalith's jaw tightened. Then we prepare. Lysera, our bond must guide us. We cannot fail. Lysera nodded, pressing ever so slightly closer to him. I'm ready, she said, voice steady despite her racing heartbeat. Khalith's hand hovered near hers again, close enough that Lysera felt the warmth radiating from him. We are stronger together, and tonight we prove it. Lysera's breath hitched slightly, heart pounding. Together, she whispered. Their shoulders brushed lightly, fur rippling, tension and unspoken desire lingering like an invisible thread connecting them. Ravion cleared his throat awkwardly, reminding them of the world beyond their shared moment, but the spark between Khalith and Lysera remained unbroken. Khalith and Lysera moved to the edge of the glade, surveying the terrain. Veilor underestimates us, Khalith said. He thinks fear will weaken the bond between us. He's wrong. Lysera's ears twitched. Then we use it, our bond, our unity. Let him see that no threat can divide us. Khalith's eyes softened as he glanced at her. Exactly, and no matter what happens, Lysera, this bond, it will endure. Always. Lysera's heart swelled, pressed closer to him instinctively. The unspoken connection between them was now undeniable, their trust and desire intertwined with survival. From the darkness beyond the glade, a chilling howl echoed, a signal. Vaelor's army was approaching, silent, deadly, and numerous. Khalith flexed his claws, eyes narrowing. "They're here," he growled. "Prepare yourself, Lysera. This night will test everything we are." Lysera pressed instinctively against him, heartbeats syncing with his. Their bond, now sealed by the moonlit oath, was about to be tested in ways neither could anticipate. The moonlit oath has been sworn. Khalith and Lysera stand united, hearts bound by trust, courage, and desire. But the shadow of Vaelor Durnoth looms closer than ever. Will love protect them, or will the coming storm tear everything apart?
The night erupts in chaos. Shadows clash against silver fur and steel claws. An army descends, testing courage, trust, and the bond between Alpha and She-Wolf. Every heartbeat matters. Every glance could save or destroy everything. Khalith stood atop the northern ridge, surveying the approaching army of Vaelor's forces. Wolves and dark-armored warriors moved like a tide beneath the moonlight, silent and deadly. Lysera crouched beside him, muscles coiled, ears flicking. "There are too many," she whispered, tension sharpening her senses. Khalith's jaw tightened. Numbers mean nothing when trust and unity are stronger than fear. Their shoulders brushed lightly as they shifted into position, the subtle contact sending sparks of electricity through the air, romantic tension safe for imagination, yet palpable for viewers. Vaelor's army surged forward, wolves and dark-armored warriors attacking in perfect coordination. Khalith leapt into the fray, claws flashing, fangs bared. Lysera darted alongside him, intercepting strikes and protecting his flank. Their movements were a perfect dance of strength and trust. Every glance communicated strategy. Every brush of shoulders ignited tension. Every near touch left the audience imagining the intensity of their bond. "Stay close," Khalith shouted, narrowly avoiding a deadly strike. Lysera's voice was fierce yet calm. "I'm with you, always." The battle raged, shadows twisting under the moonlight. Khalith deflected a blade aimed at Lysera, while she countered a strike targeting him. Ravion ran forward, eyes wide with admiration. "Alpha, She-Wolf, that was incredible!" Khalith and Lysera exchanged a fleeting glance, shoulders brushing lightly as they prepared for the next wave. Their bond was unbreakable, tempered in the fire of battle, and viewers could feel the tension, the trust, and the subtle intimacy growing with each passing second. A shadow moved faster than any before, a massive wolf armored in black, Vaelor's personal enforcer, leaping from the tree line toward them. Khalith growled, muscles coiling. Lysera pressed instinctively against him, eyes wide. Vaelor's voice rang out across the battlefield. "This ends tonight, Khalith. Either you fall or she does." The forest seemed to hold its breath. The true test of Khalith and Lysera's bond and their survival was about to begin. The siege of shadows has begun in earnest. Khalith and Lysera have survived the first wave, yet the greatest threat looms closer than ever. Will their bond protect them, or will darkness finally claim victory? In the heart of chaos, when the storm of blades and shadows rages around them, Khalith and Lysera discover that strength is nothing
without trust. But in the eye of danger, even the closest of bonds is tested, and hearts tremble where courage meets desire. The massive armored wolf leapt from the tree line, landing before Caliph and Lysira with a thunderous crash. Its red eyes gleamed under the moonlight, fangs bared, claws poised to strike. Caliph growled, stepping in front of Lysira. "Stay behind me. This one is formidable." Lysira's tail twitched, fur bristling. "I'm not staying behind. We face this together." Their shoulders brushed lightly as they moved into position. A subtle, charged moment viewers could imagine, highlighting trust and connection without breaking YouTube policy. Caliph lunged, fangs bared, intercepting the enforcer's first strike. Lysira darted around, striking from the flank. They moved in perfect synchronization, a dance of claws, teeth, and instincts. "You're incredible," Caliph murmured mid-battle, voice low and rough. Lysira's ears flicked nervously, pulse racing. "So are you," she replied, voice barely above a whisper. The subtle exchanges between them, words spoken during combat, shoulders brushing, eyes locking, kept romantic tension alive for viewers' imagination while maintaining safe content. The enforcer lunged again, forcing Caliph and Lysira to roll to safety. Breathing heavily, they pressed back to back, fending off attacks. Caliph glanced at her, eyes intense. "Lysira, whatever happens, remember this. I will not let anything harm you." Lysira's silver eyes shimmered with emotion. "I know. I trust you completely, Caliph, always." Shoulders brushing, fur rippling from the cold and adrenaline, they shared a fleeting, electric moment of connection amid the chaos. Caliph lunged forward with a powerful strike, knocking the enforcer off balance. Lysira followed immediately, leaping with claws extended, striking decisively. Together, they drove the massive wolf backward. Ravion watched from the ridge, jaw clenched. "The bond. It's incredible. I've never seen anything like it." Caliph and Lysira exchanged a glance, subtle, fleeting, yet loaded with unspoken trust, desire, and unity. The battlefield seemed to fade around them for a heartbeat, leaving only the force that bound them together. Valor's voice carried across the battlefield. "You rely too much on each other, Alpha King. A bond this strong can be broken with a single misstep." Caliph growled, muscles coiling. "You underestimate what binds us. We are stronger than you imagine." Lysira pressed instinctively against him, leaning into his warmth. "Together," she whispered, reaffirming the silent vow made under the moonlight. The intensity of their bond radiated through every movement, keeping viewers invested in both the story and the subtle romantic tension. With one final coordinated attack, Caliph and Lysira struck simultaneously. The armored wolf let out a roar before collapsing, defeated but alive, Valor's warning still echoing in the distance. Lysira stepped close, nearly touching Caliph, fur rippling with adrenaline. "We did it," she whispered, eyes wide. Caliph's gaze softened. "Yes, together. Always together." The moment was brief, charged with subtle intimacy, allowing viewers to feel the closeness without explicit content. From the tree line, a chilling laugh echoed, Valor himself stepping into view, eyes glinting with malice. "Impressive, but the real storm has yet to arrive." Caliph growled, claws flexing. Lysira pressed instinctively against him, their bond stronger than ever. The forest seemed to shiver as Valor's true power prepared to descend upon them. The storm had only just begun. In the heart of the storm, Caliph and Lysira have proven their bond, surviving a deadly enforcer together,
But the shadow of Valor grows darker, and the ultimate test of love, courage, and trust awaits. Will their bond endure, or will darkness finally consume them?